This episode of Void Signal is sponsored by Dark Force Fest. Visit darkforcefest.com or search Dark Force Fest anywhere to learn more about America's premier dark music festival experience. You can also find festival-related episodes of Void Signal anywhere podcasts haunt. Well, hello again. It's Brian Prime, and this episode of Void Signal is with three headliners from the upcoming Dark Force Festival in New Jersey. Joining us for this discussion is JP from Blvck, Biddy Cobra from Matt Black, and Jamie Blacker from ESA. Their individual styles vary, but the commonalities they share in our conversation are interesting, and they have a lot of thoughtful feedback. Be sure to catch their sets at Dark Force Fest this year. Speaking of Dark Force Fest, come see me for Void Signal live on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. in the Morris Room. I've got a couple of headliners stopping by, including Jamie and JP, to join random teams and help answer questions. I've also got an artist guest category with questions from Mary Capman, Matt Hart, Mortal Realm, Ginger Khan, and a ton more. Some fun surprises are waiting for you. There'll also be a prize for the winning team. So stop by and come make some memories with strangers. You can also catch me Saturday at 4 p.m. moderating the Blvck Music and Mental Health panel, and as a guest on the Goths Love Horror panel Sunday night at 6:45. You can also say hello to me anytime you see me. I'm hard to miss, and I'll be around and I'll be around for the entire thing. So if you find me, come over, say hello. I'll give you a sticker. But before we get to the discussion, as always, thank you to Processor for providing Void Signal's theme song. You can find Processor music at processor2.bandcamp.com or anywhere you get your music. One last thing I need to remind you of. Void Signal has always been ad-free because it's made for the enjoyment of humans. It is people-powered and driven by an undying passion to keep doing whatever I do. If you've enjoyed the sound of my voice or an episode of Void Signal, please consider visiting voidsignal.net or patreon.com/voidsignal and sign up for the Patreon. It's as little as $2. All the tiers are the same, and you can quit after 1 month if you want. That's fine. But thank you so much for your consideration. It really does help make a tremendous difference with continuing to do this. So thank you so much. It is a pleasure. Okay, that is it from me for now. I hope you are hanging on in dark times. I look forward to seeing you if you will be at Dark Force Fest very soon. Please stay safe. Stay loud. And until next time, goodbye forever. Hello, everyone. What up, Biddy?
Hello, hello.
What up, JP? How you living?
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Good.
You guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yeah.
everybody. All right, perfect. First off, thank you all so much for making this happen. I appreciate your time. You're all very kind to me, even though I probably don't deserve it. We will go ahead and launch into this because we've got an hour to do this thing, and there's ground to cover. First thing I want to put to you is kind of a difficult question, I guess, but here we go. So the goth scene, is it defined by its aesthetic more than its music origins now? And how much do you see politics weighing in on such a thing?
Dude, you went straight for a hard question, huh?
Well, I was like, I've got these
That
great
is
minds. Like, let's just fucking dive in.
That's some Larry King live shit right there, bro.
So whoever feels ready to answer, give it to me.
Can you say that question one more time? I heard it the first time, but I want to just...
Sure. So do you feel that the goth scene is more defined by its aesthetic more than its music origins? And how much do you foresee politics weighing in on that in our current day?
I'll answer since I kind of spoke up first anyways. There is a resurgence right now in the goth scene, and to some people, I see it being more of an aesthetic. So I do understand that point of view. But for people like us that are like lifers, and actually, I want to clarify something first. I consider myself an artist before a goth. The goth culture is just something that I relate to. And Matt Black is actually goth adjacent, but we love our goths, and I have a background in goth and industrial music. But with that being said, I've seen the trends of how it's changed in the last 10, 15 years. So I can see how to some people it's become more of a glamour type thing. And you know what? It's good. It has its time. And then, 10 years from now, it might not be where it's at now. And that's okay, because we're still going to be doing what we do as artists, and that's challenging people. But anything that gains popularity, either being music or anything else happening culturally, comes with this set of politics and gatekeeping and people who define what's cool, what's not. Just like anything else in life, there's going to be haters, or there's going to be some set of rules or parameters. And for us as artists, I don't see that being important to us. It's a part of the game, but I don't think it should really affect what we want to do, how we want to create, and how we want to go about being artists.
Okay. Jamie, JP.
All right. Who's next?
You are, because you spoke.
Because I did the thing.
Yep.
I think that's a really tough question for a number of reasons, but I think mainly for me, probably similar to, do you know what? I'm really sorry. I can't see your name because I've not got my glasses on.
It's okay. I go by Biddy.
Biddy. Yeah, that's nice and easy. Cheers, Biddy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, mate. I think similar to what Biddy said, I think our kind of origin is more prone to the creating side of things, less on the reactive side of things. And music scenes are usually reactive to something. There's a stimulus, there's a catalyst, and people kind of react to that and kind of take it and make it into something else and massage into an aesthetic. And, you get your second tier, your third tier, and your different waves of that. So I think we're probably Biddy, JP, and myself. I won't speak for JP strictly, but I imagine we have the same similar kind of path of thought, is that we're more into the creating side of things and less into the reactive side of things. I think there is some truth in the fact that there is so much importance kind of put to the aesthetic in goth, maybe more so than some other music genres. I don't know. It is a very important factor. But I don't know, dude. I just let people do what they want to do, and I make what I want to make, and it's all happily getting along in some weird, kind of, a weird way. But I would also say I'm probably not a goth. I mean, I like certain, I like certain things that goths do. I really like old Dracula films, and I really like horror films, and I really like some of the other things that go along with the aesthetic. But there is no way in the world that I would ever, like, seriously, with a straight face, say, yeah, I'm a goth. So I feel less empowered to answer this question with any real, I don't know, valuable information.
Fair enough. JP, what about you?
Okay. I think the term goth is pretty expansive, and it includes music, but also art, literature, filmmaking. So I think that it is primarily referring to an aesthetic. It's like the way that our culture marks an interest in the macabre and dark things. So I kind of like that about the term goth. So we can have goth music, but we can also have goth fashion. We can have goth art. We can have goth communities. And it references some common interest in aspects of life that mainstream society is perhaps afraid of. Like, for instance, thinking about mortality and death. I feel like that's a very goth thing to do. So I don't think it's primarily defined by music. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because I like expressions of various genres that take on a goth aspect. And so I feel like there can be goth techno or goth rap, or there can be like anything can speak to our interest in the darker side of life. So for me, I think that's a pretty liberating view of goth. It doesn't have to be constraining. It can be applied in lots of different ways. So I like to have a pretty inclusive definition of it. The second part of your question was the extent to which you think politics is going to remain relevant for the goth community. Am I getting that right, Brian?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. I'm living in the United States. It's a fact of social life that no sphere of our lives is untouched by political polarization. So everything feels highly politicized. Everything feels tense in that way. I just wouldn't expect any goth community to not bear some impact from that. So I don't expect there to be a lack of tension around politics just because we're dealing with something goth. And there's a lot of people that make an argument that goth is inherently political because it speaks to a marginalized perspective or marginalized voice in American culture, and that in itself is a kind of political stance, saying that these are interests and these are voices and lived experiences that deserve some kind of recognition, that deserve some kind of space. And when we're talking about space, we're inevitably talking about politics because there's a limited amount of space. So I think it's highly political, and I think it's a pretty expansive concept.
Okay. Good answers. I'm very pleased with that all around. How much what is the, just to switch gears a little bit, but sort of remain adjacent, what do you feel the role of the artist is, speaking from your own perspectives, in the music scene right now? I mean, you're all making something born from your passion, right? Like a thing that you love. But what responsibilities do you feel might come with such a thing? And what role do you see yourself playing in that?
Fucking hell, Brian, you're going for it tonight, aren't you?
I've got illustrious guests. I was like, fuck, good people with minds. Let's dive in.
What our favorite color is.
No easy questions. Yeah. It's all hardcore.
Just pick someone to.
I pick you, Biddy.
Whatever.
You just talked.
Responsibilities a little bit.
Our long story short, perspective of an artist and our responsibilities to our audience, pretty much is what you're saying.
Yeah.
We as artists view the world in such a manner that some people can't express, and we have the gift of being able to express it. I know this because I've talked to a lot of people who come to our shows and are moved and touched by either the lyrics or the music, and they're able to connect with it. It might seem normal to us because we live this way as artists, that we're constantly writing, we're constantly creating. But the one thing I do want to say is, although, and on the topic of goth and dark, I'm a firm believer that, there's a balance to life. So I've always said there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So for me, it's the expressing of these darker themes for me is also speaking about some kind of light. And my responsibility, at least as Biddy Cobra of Matt Black, as a writer in the band, is to be able to express those things and to give some kind of clarity and inspiration for people to know that, they're not alone. I mean, we were talking about how we are a subculture, and, now you're not alone. Some people grew up in small towns anywhere in the world where they didn't feel like they had a community of people, or they didn't really fit in. And now they do, through music, through community, through culture, aesthetics, whatever. And, I'm sure that every artist has a different way of expressing what they want to say. So for us in Matt Black, at least I can speak to say that we're very intrapersonal, introspective. We talk a lot about finding yourself. And I think that it's our job. I wouldn't even call it a job. I think it's our blessing in a way to be able to talk about these things and offer that kind of inspiration to people. And you talked about politics earlier, and I find it great that I don't have to talk about politics in music. Some people do, and that's fine, right? If that's the route you want to take. But for me, it's like, that's the beauty of doing art and making music, is that you get to pick and choose the themes that you want to talk about. So for me, it's my role, I think, is definitely to inspire other people.
Okay. Jamie, you look like you have thoughts.
I have some thoughts. All right. I don't think that anybody should feel forced to have a responsibility as an artist for, it depends what the responsibility is tied to, but I don't think there should ever be a responsibility forced on an artist to automatically feel the need to take certain things into account. Depends why you're making the music in the first place, right? I mean, I imagine us all have reasons for making music. It's not just because we're bored. We're scratching our balls otherwise. But that being said, I personally feel a responsibility just because the kind of music I make and the kind of subjects it's leaning to. So I think the best thing that I can align this to as an example is something I said a couple of weeks ago, and that is that when people come to me and say, "Oh, your music really helped me out, kind of sort out my mental health," it's helped me throughout a process. That to me is like massive. And I think I said, when I posted this online, I think I said something along the lines of, I'd rather have that every day than huge commercial success, because commercial success doesn't really mean anything. The quantity of people who kind of are into what you're making doesn't validate it any more than, if it's a small quantity. But if people come back and say, this has really helped me through as a process, then I have a responsibility to react to that and, say how that makes me feel. And what I was trying to suggest when I posted this was that it's all a bit of a cycle, isn't it? Like you feel something, you make something, people listen to it, they're feeling something, helps them through some shit, they come back and tell you. And that kind of feedback is, I don't know about Biddy and JP, but to me it's fucking massively potent when I hear that. So whereas I don't really feel like any artist should be made to feel a responsibility, I do feel that personally I have a responsibility to kind of earmark some of the stuff that I think is really shitty that's going on, some of the things that we're all feeling, because we all have far much more in common than we have not in common. Probably not made that point very well, but yeah.
Okay, all right. JP, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I agree a lot with what Biddy and Jamie had to say. And I feel a deep responsibility to contribute to a culture of belonging in whatever scene will have me. So I feel like my conduct really matters. My online conduct and my conduct at shows, it really matters. Whether I like it's not comfortable, but whether I like it or not, because I'm willing to take the stage, I'm being put in a leadership position. Leadership for me doesn't mean telling people what to do. It means that I'm there. I have to model something. I have to take my conduct really seriously. I'm not going to demean people. I'm not going to exclude people. I'm not going to engage in a discourse that makes people feel dehumanized. And I think it's a privilege to have that responsibility, but I feel it really deeply. And so interactions with fans and non-fans alike, I feel like I'm representing something, and I try and be mindful of my conduct. And so, there's a sort of civic responsibility of being a public figure. Even when you're a small, relatively insignificant public figure, you're still choosing to have the spotlight put on yourself. And so when we behave badly, when we make people feel small, we're doing something wrong. I call out other artists when they behave that way, because I don't think that they're hurting the scene, they're hurting themselves, they're hurting other people. Our conduct matters.
Yeah,
and that's I try and be really thoughtful about what I say online. And Jamie, I really align with what you were saying about fans who come to you and say that you've really made a difference in their life. I mean, I feel like that there's a major responsibility there, and that's also a privilege, right? But it's to have your music help someone in a difficult time is an incredible gift. And so I'm aware of that when I'm thinking about lyrics and song creation. I'm thinking about, am I making a song that might help someone during a difficult moment. I hope I am. I think that's one of my primary motivations now, later in life, for continuing to do this.
Gotcha.
I've got two quick additions to that, actually. So Biddy said the word blessing and JP said the word privilege. It's funny how we all feel that. I think that's what this has come back to, is as part of this weird thing that we're doing, right? It's really weird that we make this thing and then it goes out into the world and people pick it up and, it affects somebody, 20,000 miles away that you would never imagine would hear this stuff. And I think, we all feel that very similarly with privilege and blessing. And that's what I feel too. I do feel like it's a bit of a gift. It's a bit of a pain in the fucking ass sometimes as well, but it's a bit of a gift. I'm working on my set today for Dark Force Fest and trying to squeeze these 13 albums into 40 minutes is a bit of a pain. But generally, this is a massive gift. And the only other thing I'd say is, what does surprise me when people come forward and say, this has really helped me. I think, bloody hell, my music is about as bleak as you can possibly get. What is it in that you are picking up? I mean, it helps me as event making it because I'm getting all this horrible stuff out of me and onto, into digital artifacts. But if people are saying, that really helps me, sometimes it takes me by surprise. I'm thinking, what is it in that helps you? But I find that really interesting. It's funny, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, Saturnalia has helped me through some very difficult days. So thank you so much for that. Much appreciated.
That's my pleasure.
JP and Biddy, is that a thing that when you go into songwriting that is in the back of your mind is like, regardless, because the three of you all make sort of very, I don't want to say very disparate styles of music, but, in different veins, you're definitely catering to sort of different audiences, I would say. But what lingers in the back of your mind when you go into the songwriting process, and does audience factor into that, or are you just sitting down to make a thing for yourself?
Want to take it?
Go for it, JB. I'll go after you.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Artistry is a practice of being true to yourself. And so that, whatever you're doing has to be sincere and has to be honest. You can't write for an imaginary audience and expect it to be a good song. I think it has to really be coming from your heart. And so it is a self-absorbed practice in some ways, but I am never in the studio entirely alone, even though I make the music all alone, right? But I mean, I think that all the people I've met over the years, I think they're kind of with me in a way. I'm thinking about the people I care about, even if I've only met them for a few minutes. The people that have said, "Hey, your music has really made an impact." I mean, they're there with me in some way. And so I'm not making music to please people. I'm not doing like audience service per se. I'm making music that speaks to whatever emotional need is probably going on in the moment for me. But I think that drawing a bright line between my artistic emotional process and then the people that I've encountered and the community that has accepted me, it probably isn't the right way to define it either. Those things are all kind of part of the same process. So I'll leave it there. I'll hand it over to Biddy.
Okay.
Listening to, both Jamie and JP talk, I can kind of tell that we might be around the same age and that we've been doing this for a while, because I feel like part of an artist's journey is to find your voice. And although I have been writing music or writing lyrics since I was a teenager, trying to mimic Maynard from Tool or Robert Smith or something, because I found beauty in those lyrics. I think life teaches you a lot of things. And, none of us, I don't think, are overnight sensations. So I feel that we worked on our craft for many years. And with that being said, I found out that you have to develop your voice. You have to constantly grow, live experiences, and talk about it. And in order for it to reach people, it has to be real and sincere to you, And because if you're sitting down and you're thinking, I'm going to write the next goth anthem that's going to play at every club, it doesn't work that way. I'm going to play the next techno hit or something like it. And then let's say that's your goal, right? Your goal is to write the next big hit, and you're let down because it doesn't become the next big hit. Then you're let down for something that wasn't even real to you, So I think Jamie touched on the subject of, I'm getting lost here. That what did you said something about you're making it for yourself or something like that. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're making it. I find it, when you make it for yourself, you are making it for others because it's for you and others are going to relate to it. But I don't ever, unless I'm in love and I write a love song for a girl or something, I guess that's the only other way.
Have you written me a song, Biddy?
You have a really nice filter on your camera right now that brings out the color in your eyes. No,
do you know what it is? My camera's just really dirty.
You're a dirty boy. No, at the end of the day, these are things that you have to develop as a growing artist. And I'm a firm believer in constantly growing, and you'll find your audience one way or another. Some people don't get it right away. Some people find, minor success in their early 20s, and good for you. I wasn't one of those. I didn't get a real gig, like get paid to play and go on the road till like my late 20s. So, that was a humbling experience. And those are just life lessons that you live and you interpret it as an artist. And honestly, is there people out there that are looking for a hit? Yeah, they exist. It's called pop music, man. And not all of it. I would say maybe a high percentage of it. And they have 50 producers and 50 songwriters, and they have a team of people behind them trying to curate, the next big thing. And fortunately enough, that's not us. That's not even what. And it's funny to hear you guys talk about how you identify with the culture, right? We're pertaining to the Gothic culture and industrial culture and stuff like that. But even then, we don't feel like we really belong to that either, right? Think about the dichotomy in that. It's super hilarious, right? So we don't feel like we belong in a place where no one belongs. So I don't, So it means even more, right? Like you guys both said that you have fans come up to you, friends, and people tell you how much your music meets them, got them through a hard place. And at the end of the day, I can only speak for myself, but when I've had people tell me that this song helped them get through a divorce, or a song I wrote helped them get through love loss or a death, I wrote about love loss. I wrote about death. So that's the best way to convey your music, is to be true to yourself.
Okay, agree. Good answers all around.
Yeah, and I'll briefly add, because Biddy inspired me to do so. So the one thing I really like about the goth scene and the goth adjacent scene, I feel like it is a truth-seeking scene. That is precisely why it's willing to look at the dark and the light. It is interested in the contrast. It is whether it realizes or not, it's a deeply philosophical scene in that way. The people who are attracted to that scene are looking for some kind of truth, their own truth. They're interested in other people's truths. So when you write songs that are true to you, that's when you're most likely going to make that connection. I don't find it to be a superficial scene at all. I've always found that characteristic to be totally unfair. Because there does tend to be an emphasis on the aesthetics, right? And there is a stereotype aesthetic, but I've never found it to be shallow. And so none of the bands that, like, for instance, the bands at Dark Force Fest, these are all people struggling with real life in their music. And the people who are showing up are struggling with real life. I think that the sense of community that we build at the event is precisely because it's a bunch of people who do feel marginalized in one way or another. And for a short weekend, they can overcome that. And we're all very different. Belonging in that scene doesn't mean conformity. Doesn't mean musical style conformity. Doesn't mean dress conformity. There's like, a limitless number of ways to be goth. And I think that's actually something we should celebrate, because when the goth scene does turn toxic, it's when it becomes sort of gatekeeping.
Yeah, agree. And I do feel that is very well representative, not only in the three of you and the music that you make, but also in the sort of whole Dark Force lineup, right? Like we have a day with like big goth headliners, and we have a day with like big industrial headliners, and sort of a mixing in between there, because everybody is welcome at this thing. I do feel that is certainly a important component of, all of these people are attracted to the other, and all of these people who are attracted to the other tend to be neurodivergent and or service workers and or, grouped together by some sort of significant means, some sort of signifier that makes a difference to them. Okay, Jamie, do you have what are you doing to sort of prepare for Dark Force Fest, and what are you hoping to get out of it for yourself as an experience?
So, well, what I'm looking forward to getting out of the experience is just seeing everybody that I haven't seen for ages in America. I've never been to that festival before. I've heard it is a very kind of community-led kind of vibe, which sounds really fun to me. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing everybody. At the moment, what I'm doing to prepare is what I've done today, which is, so my shortest set is 70 minutes. That's like my minimum, so I can get in the bangers. And the stuff that Jamie likes to play, you know, certain tracks that I think work really well live. So I've got 40 minutes. I'm fucking carving away at this, just taking one track after another, and I'm, you know, just trying to deliberate what I'm trying to convey. Is it just like play all the tracks that are bangers that have been singles and got videos, or play all the tracks that Jamie likes to play, which are, you know, 10-year-old harsh noise? Probably not. So that's what I'm doing to prepare today. It's been a horrible day, actually, but yeah, it's it'll be worth it on the day. Obviously, I'm doing those extra shows. I've got 7 extra shows in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to spread my wings a bit more with the sets and be a little bit more, you know, getting the good stuff as well. But so my main intention for the show is just like every other show intention, that is to kind of destroy in a really positive way.
Destroy in a really positive way. I love the way you use language.
I see this thing kicking about every so often. I see people saying, bring different shoes for the ESA set. And I'm always like, what do you mean? You stilettos? Was people just meaning that, you know, it's usually a fiery set and they don't stop moving.
That went over my head. What do you mean by that? Bring different shoes to your set? People mosh,
comfortable shoes. Yeah, comfortable shoes. Just because it's a pretty hard set. Okay. Not much left.
High energy set.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you get to the point quicker than me, buddy.
Yeah, this guy is 100% high energy. I have had the pleasure of seeing him a couple of times in my life, and just fucking delivers every single time. If you are going to Dark Force Fest, not only don't miss Rabbit Junk and Matt Black, who will be wonderful, but ESA is going to blow the roof off that fucking place.
I forgot to tell you how I'm preparing as well. I've started back at the gym and I'm back boxing and Muay Thai training because I need to get my cardio back up.
Yeah, you need to look your best up there. God damn it.
It's not about our look, mate, although that is very important.
Stamina. Yeah.
It's stamina. I'm not even joking here. Like, I'm 45. I've not been to the gym for like 6 months because I've been busy. My stamina's reduced, and you need it. You genuinely need it if you're going to do like a few dates in a row when you're getting older. So yeah, I've been hitting the gym a lot, and yeah, I think my 6-pack's coming back actually.
Nice, good for you. Well done.
Yeah, I'll show you it.
Okay, great. I can't wait to see it. Biddy, what about you? What are you getting ready and doing to get ready for this thing?
It's a pretty busy year for Matt Black, so I think that's amazing. We have 2 weekends of recording sessions for new material. Luckily, we just got back from a 3-week run of the south of the United States and back home, so we're pretty warmed up with our live set. And for me, preparation is actually not too different from what Jamie said, dude. Like, I'm literally hitting the treadmill till then, and it's for stamina. Like, literally, like, I think I've taken gigs in the past, like, you know, there's a tour I think I took lightly and I was a little out of shape, and, you know, in the middle of my set, I'm fucking feeling it, dude. It hurts. Just because we're so active, you know, we're just a very active band. We all grew up as like metalheads, so like we bring that kind of energy. And so yeah, like now I know I'm like, I want to not get gassed out, so I start in the treadmill, jogging, stuff like that. As for performance wise, I mean, we're just gonna do what we always do, you know. And I think you've seen this play before, Brian, right? You saw us at
Yeah, I've seen it twice now. In LA and Sacramento as well. Yeah, looking forward to seeing Sacramento. Dane again, and his shout out to Matt Black's 4th member, the lighting director Dane, for just putting on a fantastic job running lights for you guys.
Call him the wizard.
Yeah, the wizard. JP, what are you doing? Also, really quick, just to add my own voice to this, I've also been like, you know, working out and like lifting weights and stuff because, like, you know, festivals coming coming up and like, I got to look good. And, for different reasons than you guys, you're like, stamina for my performance or whatever. I don't have to worry about that shit. I just have to look good. And so I'm working on doing that. JP, what about you? What are you doing to prepare for this thing?
Your question makes me think about, I wish there's a way I could convey how much work goes into each show. It's just a lot. There's just so much and it happens behind the scenes. There's nobody there to witness it. There's no fanfare. There's no glory. Preparing backing track, figuring out the tech you're going to be using. All of this is hours and hours and hours. It's a huge sacrifice. It means you're not doing something else. You're sacrificing social time with family. The stamina part of it, I absolutely feel that. You've got to be in really good shape to put on an energetic show for 50 minutes, screaming, singing, playing guitar, interacting with the crowd. Yeah, you have to really plan for that. There's a lot of work that goes into it. It's absolutely worth it. I love doing it, but there's no way it's without sacrifice.
JP,
yeah,
what you're saying strikes so many different chords. Like this last run, we spent 2 days just doing tech work, and 1 day of rehearsal. So 3 days, 2 days of tech. That's insane. What you're saying right now is like, I feel it. Like I'm like, oh my God.
It's the invisible labor. It's like the invisible labor of this profession. I don't know if you got that because I think my connectivity is shitty.
You're fine.
Bummer.
I got you. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of invisible labor that goes on that's not clear on stage. I don't think any of us are just jumping up on stage and it's all just fun and games and we just magically make it happen. We work really, really hard. Like whatever we do up there, whether it's good or not, we've worked really hard to deliver it. We're thinking about our gear, lighting, the set selection. I couldn't even begin to count the amount of hours that we're putting into our set for Dark Forest Fest and the little tour that we're doing after it. It's a ton of work. Plus, you got to practice. I'm someone with 2 kids and 3 jobs, and so when you put a practice schedule on top of that, it means that something else isn't getting done. Sometimes that's meals.
Yeah, yeah. So, sometimes that's the relaxation time. Is just like, fucking cut out.
Yeah,
no time. Okay,
yeah.
But you are not.
So,
what I'm hearing is that you are also not hitting the gym in preparation for your performance. Is that right?
He doesn't need to.
I should be.
He looks more fit than he looks like he's the most fit guy here.
That's true. Yeah, good job.
I think JP's all right,
it should
man.
be. Cardio is really, really important especially when you're the vocalist. I'm vocals and guitars, so I'm stretching a lot of different directions, and you can't run out of breath. And nobody told me that when I was younger. This is actually a pretty blue collar job. Like your back might hurt, your knees might hurt. Like you got to take care of yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
So me and some girl have actually been thinking about getting a couple of treadmills and putting them down in the studio so that when we're doing the set, we're also on the treadmill at the same time.
Yeah, there you go.
To try and, yeah.
Good thinking. Well, I don't want to keep all 3 of you too long. Thank you. Again, thank you so much for your time. So I will go ahead and hit you with the last question. What is something that you have been enjoying recently? And your answer can be anything, just something, a book, a movie, a TV show, just what's something that you wake up and are jazzed about? JP, you go first.
All right. I'm constantly teaching new classes. I'm teaching a new class right now. It's called Introduction to Law, Societies, and Justice at the University of Washington. And I think I'm pretty different than the other professors, right? I think there's a lot of stereotypes being broken in the classroom. And I think I enjoy showing the students a different kind of teaching, one that's not top down and sort of authoritarian and stuffy, but one that, considers the learning process is also an emotional process. So there's some, relational safety going on in that classroom. I enjoy that. I look forward to my classes every day. So I'll stick with that answer.
What's your favorite thing to teach? Like, is there a particular lecture that you like to give, or a particular bit of wisdom that you like to impart? Because speaking from my own experience as a tutor in the past, I love talking to English 101 students who are I don't know how to critically think and I'm a dumb baby or whatever. Those are my favorite students to interact with because they just fucking don't know anything. And you get to sort of be this is how you do this.
I'm basically a law professor. And I think that the thing that I find most satisfying is busting all the myths about law, bringing law down to earth, making people feel like the law belongs to them, cutting through all the legal language and all of the performance and ritual of the legal world and saying, basically we're dealing with human problems, human issues. There's a specialized language that surrounds it, but that doesn't mean don't be intimidated by that. So the most satisfying thing, I get to the end of the quarter, and when I feel like students are no longer intimidated by the law, I am really happy, because they shouldn't be. That law belonged to them. And so whenever my class gives me an opportunity to knock law off its pedestal and expose the human end of it, I'm pretty happy.
Okay, good answer. Thank you.
Law is made with smoke and mirrors on purpose, isn't it, JP?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's that's a great way of putting it. Yeah. There's so much smoke and mirrors. There's so much ritual to make it look like it's more scientific and mechanical than it really is.
Yeah.
And it just feels really good to expose that for students.
Okay, good for you. Thank you for doing that. Much appreciated. Biddy, what about you? What are you enjoying recently?
Well, right now, as you might know, Brian, I just rolled out my first novella book, and I felt like most of the work was done by publishing a book, but it's not. It doesn't stop. I'm constantly, thank you, by the way, for sending me that stuff today earlier.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm constantly, because I'm still an independent writer, I'm constantly working behind the scenes, logistics and this and that. And there's a lot of sacrifice involved with my day job, the band, and now my career in writing. But I found myself, whatever free time I have is writing the next novel without any pressure, though. I felt so much pressure on the first one because it was my first book, and all the thoughts of am I even good enough? It's like it's almost like picking up a new instrument, right? Or I've written songs, I can write a book. Yeah, no, it's a whole other animal. But this time around, I'm kind of doing it for more out of fun, more out of exploration, and more out of challenging myself without the pressure of anything, and I think my best work is coming out right now without any pressure. So I'm enjoying waking up with ideas and writing them down and seeing where these novels can take, where they can go.
Gotcha. Yeah. And do you, since writing the first one, I would imagine that, that's a ton of pressure off, because I've already done this thing once. And do you find yourself sort of seeking out ways to grow as a writer and new inspiration, or how does that look?
Yeah, more than anything, I mean, I do kind of go online and look at the YouTube masterclasses from, all these famous writers or whatever. But I found myself that just in our avenue of music, it's doing it constantly, having a routine. When you're picking up your guitar every other day, or you're recording an idea every week, your first idea might suck, but then you're in the groove of things, and then the next idea comes out so much easier. So I've applied that kind of mentality into my writing now, where even if I write a terrible chapter, I might scrap it, but guess what? I'm in the zone of writing, so I end up writing the next better thing the next day.
Gotcha. Okay. Jamie, what about you?
What's the title of your book?
Beacons of Night. So it comes out nationally April 24th. Right now, I did a soft release in February for all the fans of the band. It's all inspired by the lyrics and music of Matt Black, but it's post-apocalyptic, dystopian novella. So lyrics are now dialogue between people. Titles of songs are now places and cities. And I'm kind of just bringing in this new world building experience.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I like the connection between the music and the novel. That's really cool.
Yeah, you create a universe.
Yeah, it seems like it's really hard, but it wasn't, because it's just all coming out of here, I always tell my friends that I wrote it if I'm doing fan fiction for myself, because it wasn't intentional. Yeah, I didn't write the songs and then later say, oh, I'll have a story behind them. No, it all happened way after I wrote the music and the lyrics.
Nice.
I'll give you guys a couple copies in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I really like that. Thank you.
Yeah, please do. And just really quick, the novel is excellent. I've had the pleasure of reading it and reading for it, and I do really enjoy it, and I look forward to, as somebody who went to school for creative writing, it was very exciting for me to see someone in our genre who is a songwriter sort of dip their toes into creative fiction and what that looks like. And I think you've crafted a very sort of unique cyberpunky sort of a vibe and feel. So yeah, thank you so much for doing that. Jamie,
Brian's
I know
gonna be a character. Brian's going to read in the audiobook.
I'm also reading a chapter. I'm also a little partial to it, for that reason. Jamie, I know you don't enjoy much in life. What have you been what have you been enjoying recently?
There are plenty of things that I enjoy. I enjoy my 3 cups of teas every morning. I think what's getting me out of bed in the morning and what I'm enjoying the most is just watching my daughter get weirder and weirder. She's 2 years and 2 months, and I've been told about the terrible twos, but I was never told how funny it is. Like, just the weird shit she's doing. And like, I mean, I'm sure if it was somebody else's kid, I wouldn't find it funny. I'd just be really annoyed by it. But she keeps coming up with these little, like, I don't know. She'll like crawl around and make me crawl around afterwards and tell me to come on. And I know that sounds stupid, but but to me, it's like getting to live like a second childhood where I'm not judged for being an idiot because I can just, be an idiot with her.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying watching her kind of just be really weird every day. That's what I'm enjoying the most. Other than that, there was a great TV show on Netflix, actually. It's probably not the right word. It's not a TV show, is it? It's a great show on Netflix. First great show I've seen for a long time, actually. I don't know if you guys have got it in America, but it was called Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen.
I've heard people talking about it recently, and I was going to check it out.
Really good. Like, it's not just a good story. The cinematography, some of the shots are beautiful. The audio, the vibe, it's interesting. It takes some left turns. It's not typical. So I've been watching that for the last week, and yeah, I'm really impressed by that, considering it's a Netflix show where they just kind of churn them out and don't even think about how every scene's going to look, and a lot of it's really low quality, but yeah, it's a great show.
Okay, I will check it out. I also can deeply appreciate the chance to just be an idiot again, because I find myself sometimes, I don't have a kid, but when I'm playing with dogs, I'm like, oh, I'm being such a fucking idiot right now, but who cares?
Comparing my child to dog.
Sure, why not? Is that is that wrong? I mean, they're little.
We'll talk about it at Dark Force Festival.
Okay, great. Looking forward to it. And JP, you've got a couple of kids, right?
I do, yeah. My oldest is about to turn 18.
Damn.
That's a big birthday. I know. Yeah. No, I'm older than I look, I think. So, yeah, oldest is about to turn 18. Youngest is 11. Indescribable joy of life for me is being a parent. Absolutely. Greatest challenge goes without saying, but the amount of joy they bring into my life is just, I don't even know. I don't have the words for it. I couldn't imagine any other life without them. So I love being a dad.
Nice.
Is it cool if I ask all of you a question?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Please do, yeah.
Just out of curiosity, because I know my journey and all the work I've put in. What is there ever a time where you're like, fuck, I don't know if I want to keep doing this? And I know it sounds
all the
dark.
time.
Yeah.
Frequently. Yeah.
And what is the one thing that keeps you going? Because I think we've all a long tour, grueling, album that is beautiful, but or time management. What have you felt like, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore? And then what brings you back to wanting to be like, well, I was stupid for thinking that yesterday. There's so many reasons to keep doing this.
I'll go first if that's all right.
That's an amazing question, Biddy.
Yeah, really good question. I feel that all the time. It usually happens as a bit of a hangover from maybe writing an album, and then, you finish an album 6 months before it comes out, and then you have to promote it. And I think we all agree that promotion is the worst part of releasing music. I feel like it all the time, like I've had enough. It's just so time consuming. But then I think it's one of two things, like going back to what I said earlier, when someone comes up to me, virtually or not, and just says, your music has really helped me, that really compels me to carry on. I would say that's about 60% the reason that I carry on. It's that important. But I would say the other reason is just a deep need to create. And sometimes, you can be completely flat and demotivated for months. And then, 2 a.m., you'll hear something in your head, you'll hear a rhythm, and you'll sit down, you just have to expel it. So it's not really a choice where you go, okay, I'll make the decision to carry on. For me, it's like a bit of a burning need to. I've already said to pretty much everyone that I know closely that I shan't be making full music videos anymore, because the amount of work that I put into it. It's like months and months of pre-production, and I just don't have the capacity anymore. But I'm still getting these fucking ideas in my head all the time, and I'm having to like switch them off and just kind of ignore them, because if I start, I won't stop, and then I'm putting myself under a lot of pressure. So in a short answer, yeah, I feel like there's been loads of times that I'm like, okay, that's it, let's move on. But ultimately, just like a ghost or an old friend, it just keeps coming back.
What about you, JP?
Yeah, Jamie, I feel that a lot. Every single time I take a break from music or step away from music, I degrade psychologically, and so it's obviously filling a need, and it's frustrating and it's full of doubt. I mean, I know you two feel this. You're working on a track, and that doubt starts. Like, is this good? Is this just crap? What am I doing? I think that's just the life of an artist. It's just a life full of doubt. That's another aspect of the invisible labor that's going on that people don't see, is just how much doubt you have to endure during the creative process. But I guess I'll say this about doubt. Doubt has ended up becoming one of my favorite things in a weird way. It's an incredibly uncomfortable experience to feel doubt. It just hurts. But it's only from doubt that we find wisdom, I think. So it's like, fear and doubt end up being two of the most valuable things in my life, because through those two things, I've learned who I am. I couldn't have done it any other way, and so all that fear and doubt around music, all of the negative emotion that comes with the creative process has this payoff of being an avenue through which I get to know myself and know others and connect with the world. So it's Jamie, like you, I don't feel like I can stop. And sometimes I resent because it's a lot of work and because there's a lot of pain involved. But then I get reminded of how much I grow through this process and how much I value that.
Yeah. To echo those sentiments for me personally, producing a podcast on bi-weekly or so or whatever, there can be a lot of silence to be had, and that's fine. But what really keeps me going is that, the nights where I can't sleep and I'm up at 1 a.m. or whatever it is, and I think to myself, like, man, what would I want to hear right now? And I think of like, I'd love to hear like a podcast, somebody who has something to say, somebody who's having a conversation with someone who creates something interesting, and maybe that person has thoughtful things to say. Just the chance to be around people who are speaking their minds and who are being honest about their feelings. And I think there's a value in that we don't get to experience very frequently in our lives, right? Like it is a huge privilege to have people in our lives who speak the truth with every word they say. And we tend to love and trust those people more than any others. And so what keeps me going is the idea that like I'm making something that a person like myself would want to hear. And, I've encountered enough other people who have been like, your podcast helped me be able to shower, go on a car trip, or do a thing that I normally wouldn't do. Cool, great, wonderful. As long as you have a voice in your corner at a time when you need it, that's enough for me. So that's usually what keeps me going. What about you, Biddy? What keeps you going?
Pretty similar to everything the guys said. I don't think I could. I mean, there's a lot of things that I know I'm good at. Obviously, I'm exploring writing, and there's other artistic avenues that I want to do. But something about making music that covers all of the senses, and like it's grueling. Like all the especially because it's a democracy in my band. It's 3 of us, and we all bring music to the table. We all kind of take the lead on songs, or et cetera, et cetera. But it's I could come back from a tour defeated, and not because it wasn't a successful tour. It was actually it could be a really great tour, but it's just being tired or missing out on certain things in life. But what keeps me going is just I think that we're very, very, I don't want to use the word lucky individuals, but we're very, very blessed to be in a position where we're at to touch and move people. So definitely reaching however big it's small audience, medium audience, whatever audience we all have, it's making that kind of impact. I mean, I know I felt that when I was a teenager, when I heard music, and it helped me get through my teenage years or helped me get through my early 20s. Being able to provide that for someone is kind of what helps me keep going forward, for sure.
Nice. Good answers. just to kind of circle back to the original question I always answer myself, thing I've been enjoying recently, I've been DJing a lot. And I just got offered a paid DJ gig here in Reno. And I play all of your music. And it has been so wonderful to sort of realize a dream of like, I have this compulsion in me to share music. I'm like, this touches me. Like, you should listen to it and put it in your ears and also be touched by it. It's been so wonderful to have that chance to share that with others and, you know, get people moving and get people going like, what was that song? That song was so good. And that gives me a lot of satisfaction because I feel that music is, as a person who loves art and expression, I do feel that music is such a profound vehicle for that. It is such a strong vessel for emotional resonance and ideology, and it can affect you in so many ways that feel permanent. It is such a thing that is such a force, and I think that's so important. So it's been such a privilege to be able to share that with others and just be able to like do the thing I've always dreamed of doing. So yeah, that's been really wonderful. Anyway, that is it. Thank you all so much for your time. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. I look forward to seeing all of you at Dark Force Fest. Please come to the Void Signal panel. Come play trivia. You will be brilliant and or not, and that'll be fine. And yeah, thank you all so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening and a great weekend. And thank you so much.
Right, Charles.
Thank you for
very
having
much.
us.
Glad that you do what you do. I'm really happy to hear about the DJing too. That is awesome.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. It is a pleasure. And thank you all for making the artwork that you do. I have been a beneficial recipient of it. I get to enjoy it on the daily. So thank you all so much for that. Have a great rest of your day. Cheers. Thank you again.
Thanks, chaps.
Good
Bye-bye.
to meet you, Biddy and Jamie. I'll see you at
All right.
Dark Force
It's a
Fest.
pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you guys.
You too, guys. Bye-bye.
See you in a month. Bye.
Void Signal enter courtesy of Processor. Visit processor2.bandcamp.com for more Processor. Void Signal is powered by people and ad-free. Visit voidsignal.net or patreon.com/voidsignal to support the Void Signal project. Stay safe, stay loud, and follow Void Signal on the socials.